It was a collective outpouring of emotion as relatives of the 24 detained Ukrainian servicemen came together. President Petro Poroshenko tried to reassure the gathering that he was doing everything possible to get the men freed. The meeting took place 9 days after the 22 sailors and 2 counterintelligence officers were detained by the Russians in what Ukraine says was a totally unjustified attack. The president told the relatives that Russia had no legal right to detain the men and charge them. There's no truth, no justice, no law in Russia, he said, and the crewmen, 3 of whom were injured, should be treated as prisoners of war covered by the Geneva Conventions.
I gave an instruction to the Foreign Minister to contact the International Committee of the Red Cross in Geneva as soon as possible to send a special mission to check on the condition of our boys.
As the president was making his latest attack on Russia, there were some movements of shipping to and from the Ukraine's ports in the Sea of Azov for the first time since the crisis began. A Ukrainian minister said Russia had partially lifted its blockade. Back in the capital, there were more moves to put pressure on Russia to release the captive Ukrainians, as their relatives were moving on for talks at the United States Embassy. It went on into the evening. These men say they're exasperated at Russia's refusal to show any leniency.
We've heard nothing officially about my son's condition. Only some information from the Russian media and messages from Crimean Tatar activists that he was seriously injured and has had surgery. That's all. Moscow isn't letting lawyers or Ukrainian diplomats see him.
I'm not angry at the Russian people, it's the Russian government, because they allowed this barbaric behavior of their own officers, their sailors, towards Ukrainian sailors and officers.
The meeting here with the US Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch went on for more than an hour, and the relatives say they told her that the Americans weren't doing enough to pressure Russia to release the servicemen. They say she assured them she would pass on their thoughts to the White House. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera, Kiev.